This is Christoph von Thoma from Pronovix, and in this screencast I'm going to talk about getting things done in Freemind. It's a follow-up on a blog post that I posted earlier on our company blog, and here I want to show you live in action how useful the new attribute feature of Freemind is, and how you can use filters to get those items out of your mind map that are to be done in a specific context. So if you know Freemind, I think probably most people that know mind mapping have been looking at open source solutions, and who have been looking for open source solutions will have found Freemind. Freemind is a free open source mind map tool that is really useful for like taking notes in meetings, for brainstorming sessions, for in my case, for keeping track of projects or certain parts of projects, and basically to clean out your head and like bring everything into a structured system, so that it becomes easier to think freely and not and that you don't have to keep everything in your head. Now, if you've heard, probably if you're interested in time management, you must have heard about getting things done. Getting things done is a methodology about which David Allen wrote a book that became a blockbuster. And the idea in this methodology is that you should try to you should try to stick to a certain process, that you shouldn't try to do everything at the same time. So certain parts of the day you'll be doing research, certain parts of the day you'll be doing brainstorming, you'll be doing processing of like emails and mails and whatever you get into your system. You should then also identify next actions for those items. So for example, if you have like a really big project, you don't say like, okay, I have to work on that project, but you say I have to do XYZ, which is like the first tangible action to be able to get that project done. And then the whole idea is that you then go off and do those next actions. This is really useful. I've tried this out, and it has helped me a lot to be more focused during work, especially with all the distractions that are going around, RSS feed readers and whatever, and emails. I really recommend it to anybody who's interested in getting a bit more things done during their day. Now, how does this all fit together? With the 0.9 version of Freemind, they introduced a new feature called attributes. And attributes, you can see them here, basically are sort of tags, like tag pairs for nodes in your mind map. And the beauty of it is that you can tag things with different attributes. You can have a lot of different types of attributes, and with the filter feature, you can go and filter them out. So for example, you can say, okay, show me only context. This is extremely powerful. So when I learned about this feature, like I heard about this feature a long time ago, but I didn't really go and think it through, how I could use it for getting things done with mind mapping. I was already trying to do getting things done with mind mapping. I had like branches, like nodes in my mind map that had different context, but that didn't really work. And so it was like last week that I had an epiphany, started working with these attributes, and I figured out how I could actually get this working. And so basically, if you're using getting things done like I do, then probably you have something like this. Now, this is not my real mind map. This is just a sample, but probably you have something like, okay, your life, company, like or your business or job or whatever. Um, the projects, marketing, training, all that stuff, however you want to organize it, however it's in your head. And then you probably have like information about these projects in there. Now, one of the really cool things about mind map, about Freemind, is that you could make it the repository of everything. If you're a one-man show, especially if you don't have colleagues, you can put everything in there. In my case, since I'm for the company doing most of the business development, I can also just keep most of the contact details as a first repository in my mind map, like contact leads or whatever. The great thing is that mind map allows you to do hyperlinks also, even in your mind map. So, for example, if you have if you have a folder on your desktop, you can copy a link and add it in your mind map. And so this opens up great possibilities. Like you could just create this folder structure and then go and link to the specific bits where you're storing information about a project. If you have an SVN repository, you could even put links, hyperlinks to those things, like, because mind map also allows you to use hyperlinks. For example, let's take this one. If you copy it, and then if you go to the note above it and you do Control V, and you got a hyperlink. And so these are a couple of the possibilities. Now, wouldn't it be really, really cool if you could have, like, so this is really great for brainstorming. Now, the idea about getting things done is that you try to create like sheets, like they have these project sheets where you write down the information that you need to actually do the actions for that project, and then you go and store those in folders. Now, for example, here for Acme, I have Jay Anderson. If say I would need to go and call Jay Anderson, I could do right click and I can do edit attributes. I can say context, and call. Maybe since he's living in Ghent, I could add the attribute travel when in Ghent, and so on. Now, maybe for project 1, I need to write an email to John. Then I can say, okay, context, email. Maybe for project 2, I need to call Jeff. Context, call. And now if you go and use the filters, let's change the filter. Let's take call. Okay. Now this is where I had the full all the attributes, so don't worry about that. But you can see here that it gave me the nodes, Acme and project 2, where I have to call somebody. So basically you can select those contexts for which, like, you can select the context in which you want to work and only show those nodes and branches for where you have an action that has to be done in that direction. Extremely empowering. This was, yeah, when I figured this out, I was really, really happy. And so far it's been working really well for me. One little trick here, to show descendants. Should you have descendants in these nodes, then that will show also the information down there. So maybe, for example, for Jay Anderson, you might want to put his phone number also there, and then that will also show up. Okay, so let's switch off the filter. Now, how could you go and use this? probably you would want to put together a workflow for your day where you say like, okay, in the morning, first I come early in the office, I write a couple of things, then I read my emails, process them, then I go and do some contacting. I do another read of my emails. I do some research because after lunch I normally am not that productive, so it's better to do some research and just read around a bit. Have a little break, do some writing, brainstorming, and then at the end of the day review my mind map. And all this you can define filters for and pop up the actions that you have to take. And all this is really, really very, very empowering.